With over 400 villagers in the Animal Crossing franchise, there are of course some villagers that stick out more than others, like more popular and all-time favorite villagers like Raymond and Maple, or even just villagers with interesting design choices like Pietro or Anka. With this specific villager though, players have often questioned its design and found it rather intriguing, and that specific villager is none other than the normal rabbit villager, Coco. Some may find her cute and some may find her rather creepy with her empty eye sockets and gaping mouth. I've often found myself drawn to her and so have others due to her design, but it's also led people to question, why exactly does she look like that? So I decided to make an entire video talking about it. Today I'm going to be uncovering the dark lore of Coco in Animal Crossing and the mystery surrounding her, so let's go ahead and get started.
Due to her appearance, this has led many to question, why is she like this?
What is her story? Does she just look like a gyroid, or is she actually a gyroid?
Honestly, one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life. Truly. There is like nothing in there. No one. There's no blinking.
To give a little bit of background information, Coco is a rabbit villager with a normal personality type, making her the only rabbit villager to be normal and has been in every single installment of Animal Crossing. With her normal personality type, she is rather caring and shy towards the player, and her hobbies include reading and cooking like the other normal type villagers in the game. Her birthday is March 1st, making her a Pisces, and her favorite saying is, "Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today." In the original Animal Crossing on the GameCube, she is seen wearing the Blossoming shirt, while in Animal Crossing Wild World to New Leaf, she's wearing the Dawn shirt. Then in New Horizons, she wears the layered tank dress, which I think complements her color scheme very well. Her house in each of the games have all been pretty similar, featuring a more rustic theme with gyroids and wooden pieces of furniture. Notice how I mentioned gyroids, which seem to be part of all of her houses in the games, and the similarities in the design between Coco and the gyroids featuring the empty eye sockets and mouth. Gyroids have been in the game since the beginning and are a furniture item a player can obtain. Only one gyroid remains a quote-unquote special character, which is Lloyd, who has been implemented in different ways through the games. In the original Animal Crossing, he is seen outside the player's house and is used to save the game. In City Folk, he is seen in the auction house in the city and assists the player with placing bids or depositing an item. In New Leaf, he appears when the player does a public works project in the construction process to accept donations, and also is on Tortimer's Island where he rents tools to you. In New Horizons, he does the same thing in New Leaf where he appears next to bridges and inclines while they're under construction and accepts the donations. But other than Lloyd, all the other various gyroids are used for decoration purposes. Gyroids are obtained by digging them up after it rains or snows in the game, and in New Horizons they are formed by getting the fragments, burying them, and watering the hole, which leads them to forming into an actual gyroid. But what are gyroids, and how do they connect to Coco? Gyroids are based on haniwa, which are ancient Japanese sculptures made from terracotta clay and were used for ritualistic purposes to bury with the dead during the coffin period in the 3rd to 6th centuries AD. These sculptures were set on top of funeral mounds and were used to protect the deceased in the afterlife and are a prominent historical archive of the coffin period. They believe that once the person was buried, the soul of the person would now rest inside the clay figure. The portrayal of haniwa has been featured in various forms of media like movies, TV, and games like Animal Crossing. The typical depiction of these figures usually featured a rounded pot-like shape, 2 dark eyes, a gaping mouth, and featureless arms. And as we can see with gyroids in Animal Crossing, they bear a significant similarity. So what does all of this have to do with Coco? Well, it's clear based on her appearance that she does resemble a gyroid and has a liking for them based on them always being a part of her house. Now knowing that gyroids are based on haniwa and were used to protect the afterlife, her design has a more symbolic and darker meaning. The mythologizing of her character implies that we are actually interacting with a husk, or rather a shell, inhabited by something unnatural. Coco obviously was not born organically, but was perhaps an object that was given life. It's ironic that Coco would keep gyroids in her home, considering that she was perhaps at one point in the same state of consciousness and awareness. It would be like if humans were Barbie dolls playing with toy Barbie dolls, but we have the same hinges and creases on our body that a Barbie doll inhibits. It makes one wonder what event transpired in order for Coco to understand her personage, as in she is no longer the collected, rather than she has become the collector. It's interesting to think about how these Japanese figures were used as a symbolic method to remember the dead, which is what Coco is based on, but she's alive. One thing that stuck out to me is the fact that all the other rabbit villagers in New Horizons have ear physics, meaning they sway when the villager moves, but Coco's ears stay still, hinting at the fact that she is one of those clay figures than an actual rabbit. With all this information, this led people to theorizing what Coco really is. I covered this in my ranking of the craziest glitches in Animal Crossing video, but there is one particular glitch that could possibly give an answer to the mystery behind Coco. Gyroid Face, which is one of the most well-known glitches, or rather Easter eggs, happens in the original Animal Crossing on the GameCube. When a player takes a train to another player's town online, resets the GameCube while in the other player's town, and then starts the game again, the player will lose all of what was left in their inventory, and their character's physical features will be replaced with empty eye sockets and a gaping mouth, resembling a gyroid. During the discovery of Gyroid Face, most players thought this was a creepy glitch that occurred, but it was later found that Nintendo had actually implemented this feature to scare the player into always saving the game so you don't lose your progress. One person decided to take this over to Reddit and connected it to Coco by saying that perhaps she was an ordinary rabbit who forgot to save in the town she visited and thus lost her face for the rest of the games to come, which led players to also discover that the song that plays in her house is KK Dirge, and a dirge is a mournful song used to remember the dead at a funeral. And if you haven't heard KK Dirge, this is what it sounds like. It's honestly just a more ambient and dark sounding song that I don't think I would play, but you know, I guess, okay Coco, that's the song you like. This implies that maybe Coco was in fact an ordinary rabbit whose soul now inhabits the shell that Coco is now. Another dark thing to take into account is that her house also includes urns and fire pits, which are tools used to cremate a body. Does she possibly have these tools to remember her past life, or does she have them to perform a cremation? So Coco is in fact not an actual rabbit villager, but a husk that contains the soul of what she used to be. With all this though, there's still some questions left unanswered, like what Coco was before her passing, who made the clay figure that her soul rests in now, or did she make it herself? Was she actually a rabbit villager or another kind of villager? What if she has the soul of a villager that never made it into the Animal Crossing games? An example would be the unused squirrel villager named Shacky, who exists in the data of the first Animal Crossing but was never put into the actual game. She resembles both squirrels Caroline and Hazel, and her purpose in the game still remains unknown. She is referred to in the game data as AC_EV_DOKUTU, which could possibly refer to the word Duketsu, which means cave in Japanese. Her name is an onomatopoeia for the movement of blades, which may be a reference to the action of a shovel striking the ground in the game. What if the squirrel could have accidentally not saved the game in another town and resulted in her soul residing inside what Coco is now, kind of like Gyroid Face? That does sound a bit far-fetched, and I just thought of that theory, but hey, it could be a possibility. All in all, Coco still remains a mystery, and her name easily could just come from the fact that she kind of looks like a coconut, and I'm digging a little too deep into this rabbit hole. Get it? Rabbit hole, because she's a rabbit? That was good, please laugh. I think I should really put this energy into like, I don't know, maybe a career or something. Who knows? However, I actually do like Coco as a villager, and she's lived in my New Leaf town and New Horizons Island a few times, despite her being ever so creepy. To be fair, her design is why I like her, and I think Nintendo really did a good job at creating a very intricate character with a dark backstory. What are your thoughts on Coco? Do you have any other theories about her? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what other kind of videos like this you would like to do. I would love to start doing more informational videos talking about certain things and game mechanics and stuff in Animal Crossing games. I would love to do that more. If you guys have anything, just, comment down below. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.